What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well today. So what you're looking at here is the second of the new DLC maps that came to the CTE yesterday, October 17th. What we're looking at is Cape Palace, and this is the second of the maps that they had. You can go watch the other map, Akibaba, that they put up that I posted yesterday on my channel. I'm on here on the beaches right here trying to use my AT rocket gun to prevent these ships from making their land on the beach, giving you kind of a little bit of that Omaha Beach, Normandy type of feel that you had in World War II. This, of course, not being that, is kind of interesting to kind of have that feel, though, brought to Battlefield 1. What you're looking at here is me using one of the new weapons that came into the are going to be coming up here in the DLC. That's the M1917 Trench Carbine. That's one of the other assault weapons that is being going to be used in Turning Tides. I used the other one yesterday, and I made note that I didn't talk too much about it, mainly because DICE isn't really looking for feedback right now at all about the new DLC weapons. So I kind of want to make mention of it again, of kind of what the weapon is, and I'll make a little bit more mention of why you'll see me halfway through the game kind of stop using it. But besides that, mainly it's going to be focusing on just the map itself and kind of the feel for it. As you can see, instantly over here you have players that are pushing back onto the side over here. Mainly because of how, as you see at the very beginning of the game, how your team, at least the defending team, has all of the flags captured. And it's interesting, the game type. I kind of make mention of the game type first, kind of before the maps, just because it very much is, I think, can kind of influence this map a little bit. Because if you don't have some type of a start where, you know, people can push up and you don't have much of a battle there at the start, kind of essentially kind of ruins the beach a little bit. So a conquest mode where you're capturing all different territories wouldn't be necessarily ideal. I think this might be more ideal for a map like, or a game mode like Operations. But they're doing a different type of conquest mode for this, and so I mean, I don't know how I feel about it really. Give my little 2 cents on that. I personally would kind of, it's kind of tough because it kind of would ruin the map if you go to a regular conquest mode. But I guess I don't know, you have Operations that's already going to do it very well. So I mean, I don't know, I would preferably would like to kind of stay away from us having new game modes. I would probably more, if I had the choice, I'd rather have a new map than a new game mode. I think Operations was already kind of a hit, and I think as in like people are enjoying that in the community, and I think you know, they don't need to, you know, jump off and start giving us new you know, game modes like supply drop and certain things like that. So that's kind of my just 2 cents on that really quick. I feel like it's more dividing the community up, and as the player base has been shrinking, I think it's more important to keep people together, as they kind of made that approach a little bit with Operations by getting rid of the 40-player operation mode and putting in the 64, only the 64 player as of a couple weeks ago. So yeah, that's basically all I'll say about that. Because of that, they are immediately the kind of the mate of the game was what I was experiencing, was people was pushing their boats instantly over here towards where F and E is at, because they're trying to avoid the beaches where a lot of the people were initially, when the game first came out on the DLC, people were complaining about being, you know, spawn trapped down by the beach. So they were, you know, it's hard to, you know, explore the map and enjoy the map when you're getting slaughtered down there. So people were beginning to push out over there, which was for the most part kind of solving it, but then it kind of takes away again kind of that battle on the beach, which, you know, we'll see how it goes. All of the DLCs, all of its process, of course. So, you know, it's nothing in it, you know, set in stone right now. So so we're gonna be up over here, pushing up over to G. As you see, they did make their push, and they were able to make it. I wasn't able to quite get there to stop them from doing it. And I was able to destroy their ships, so hopefully they'll stop spawning from here. But it's a little bit too late, because now they're gonna be able to spawn on their capture points, as I completely missed that guy right there. So yeah, I'll make mention a little bit of why coming up here, why I don't want to kind of use this weapon anymore. Again, I don't want to focus too much on the weapon. I want to focus on the map, but had to get across of what I said there a little bit earlier about how the game mode is, and then a little bit of a nod to the weapon itself, because it was a little bit of a grind using this as I try to post up here and get a good shot on enemy players and flank them from the top up here. So there's a lot of open space when it comes to being up on those hills right there. So looking down on E and F, it's kind of an open area. If you're going to be like me, like using an assault class and these short range weapons, you can have places like the scouts that can easily post up over there and can kind of put some shots on towards you. So we'll see if maybe they'll put more cover down there below, or maybe if they'll extend the actual territories, capture territories on E and F, where you can actually go into the bunker. So right now you can't go into the bunker and get ticker points at all, so the territory doesn't expand to that area. So it'll be interesting to see if it actually goes down into that area itself. So there's another a good point right there why I'm not sure if I want to use this gun or not. As of right now, I've been getting a lot of 90s, 99 on that gun, a lot of those, like in the 90s. I've been having people just all the way down, almost dead, and I just can't seem to finish them off with that weapon. So you'll see that kind of happen. Not completely like a lot in this game, but I had it happen to me a couple times before playing it, and that was kind of the moment right when I saw that there. I was like, I don't know if I want to keep using this, especially when I was watching my team having kind of a hard time getting back into the game. So yeah, there was just a little bit of a pain just with that weapon. What I've been noticing is just finishing people. I never like to try to shoot people for too long. I want to kill them quickly, because normally you're gonna have a enemy player that, as far as I'm concerned, they've been trying to fix the squads and enemy players, so you'll have that happen less frequently. But it's just having people spawn on you, or just having another guy that's hearing you shooting across the map and hears you battling another guy. He's most likely going to hear that battle. He's going to go look over, see what's happening, and he's going to go help his teammate out. So I want to as quickly as I can finish him up and kill the player as quickly as I can. And this weapon seemed like it took a little bit longer, and it's something that we'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't want to make too much talk about these weapons just because of that reason, that I don't know what they're doing in regards to fine-tuning the weapons, balancing the weapons, and doing all the feedback towards to it. So I don't want to make too much of a conversation about that, and I feel like I've talked way too much about it already. So let's get back into the map. And like I was saying, over here by E and F, as you can see right up there up on the left, there's a lot of open space up there. So being from short range weapons, even though this is a little bit further of a range for the assault class of a weapon, they are kind of a little bit more exposed out there. And I do think the spawns are coming behind me, up on the hill right up there. Unfortunately, I can't get up there because I leave the territory or the capture zone as I pop up here right now and want to get a jump on this guy. But that's so that's not too big of a deal for where I'm at now. But if we were trying to spawn on here, I think we're going to spawn up there by the hill. And if you have like a scout class or something like that, you're kind of easy picking. So they do have those shells there on the ground right there, so it can give you some cover. And some smoke as well could probably do it as well too. But we'll see how much more they'll tweak on these areas right up over here. In a little bit, I'll start climbing up more into the actual hill itself, where it's much more enjoyable, at least coming from the assault class perspective. I kind of like going into the kind of in the trenches. It's kind of fun to kind of go into there, especially going up on these kind of hills. Kind of gives it kind of like that, especially near the beach. Gives it very kind of this beachy type of theme, and so it's pretty cool. Now I'm able to finish off that player there, which is nice, because yeah, I wasn't sure I was going to do that at all. But yeah, moving up along the beaches, along the pathways up towards places like C and D is definitely pretty cool, and you're going to see more of that coming up here right now, as I'm trying to make more of a push up over here. And do I even finish this guy? No, another 96. So yeah, oh man, I end up kind of condensing down the video a little bit as well, because the video kind of went up to the gameplay went to like 30 minutes or something like that. And so you're gonna see me kind of make a big kind of cut in the middle here as we kind of start falling behind a little bit. So but one little thing I want to make mention of this kind of the gameplay, I keep kind of moving back onto the gameplay unfortunately, but I kind of have to make mention of this, which is the fact that oh, look at that, this is a 99 again. This is crazy. There was it's a game mode itself is kind of sketchy itself, so it does need some improvement. I did have a situation where my team just couldn't hold it together, and we were defending, and at the very beginning of the game, when you defend the game, you have all the territories, right? Well, at the end of the game, the enemy team ended up was able to cap all of our territories, and because of that, we weren't able to spawn back in the game, because I guess the home quarters you can't spawn into. So you can't spawn in the home quarters at the very beginning of the game right there, as you see, where they have the Ottoman Empire logo with the plane right there. You can't spawn in right there. So after we lost all of the other territories, we ended up having you know, our teammates would die too, and so we couldn't squad spawn anyone. And then for the last like 50 or so tickets that were left, there was like 950 that they had, and they had like 50 more tickets to get to 1,000. And then they just ended up just there was no one on the field. There's no one who could spawn in. So yeah, this is again, it's a CTE. It's a work in progress. They're not doing much on the game mode at all. It's not what they're really looking for. But kind of having that in the game, it's kind of tough because you know, not having a start where it's kind of focused at the very beginning of the map, I think kind of hurts it. But then having that happen in the game, that type of mode in the game hurts it as well too. So it's kind of just unfortunate altogether. Yeah, now I'm done with that, and you see a little bit of a cut here where I make a big jump, and I'm just gonna go straight to the shotgun class. I'm kind of done with that, and I'm going to try to somewhat bring my team back, just mainly because I didn't want to get in that same situation where they ended up capping all the bases. We only had 2 more bases there, and we were already being pushed back. We can't spawn on our home headquarters, and you know, I'm like, okay, I don't want to have another game. I have to sit here in the lobby because you don't want to quit out of the game. They do get telemetry from the game, and so when you quit out, you know, you take away that telemetry from them. And so I don't want to, you know, quit out and have them lose that. But at the same time, I don't want to sit there and wait for the ticker count to go down because they capped all the bases, even though it's not going to take that long altogether. But yeah, I'd rather be playing. So yeah, I'm gonna go over here, stay with the shotgun, do with what I know, and go with the assault class here and see if I can push over here more, which I was able to do. I was able to come over there, push down, get places like C and D. And I want to come over here and get A. I didn't like the fact that I got killed from that guy right there, yeah, I just completely missed him. So my teammates kind of have that guy distracted just enough for me to get some shots on him, because I know once I start shooting him, it's gonna be harder for him to shoot me. And I'm gonna get myself posted back up here on the ground right here, because the spawn point's a little bit down below over there, and I know they're gonna be pushing down below. So I'm kind of listening in to hear if I get some footsteps to pop my head out and kill them really quickly. I do think it's gonna list the map. Like I made mention on the other map from yesterday, I think the maps altogether are gonna look really, really good. They're definitely gonna. I mean, just look at it. Look at all the boats, and you know, look at the smoke, and wait till the, you know, the beach and all the coloring gets involved with this. All the maps look great, and if I'm surprised if anyone's gonna be like, these maps don't look great. I think the gameplay just looks great. The graphics, all of it, I think it looks great. Whether game modes and how the maps play out in those game modes are great is, I think, up to debate. But regardless, how the maps look great. So I'm definitely excited, to say the least, about how this map is going to look when they get everything colored and textured, and what other you know environmental aspects of the game they put into it. So we'll see from there. Up here over by B, I think it's gonna be pretty cool. It's like a little castle area right over here, and I'm kind of curious how that's going to. What that's going to look like when they polish it up. Kind of curious how much more the environmental areas you can like explode things, like if you can like blow up a wall or certain things like that. You can't get up on some parts of the castle up over there to my left, but a lot of people, because that hill was such a you know, it seems like on both of these maps there's been this kind of progression of moving up the hill. This mainly more on this map, where it's just more of a progression moving upwards as you come up from the beach. I completely just missed that guy. Yeah, there's a lot of that. So because of that, if you're trying to, you know, swing up from behind them and cap A or something like that behind them, or B, and they have places like D and C, they're going to be able to look down from those places up on the hill and see from there. And if they have a good scout classes, they can do some damage on you. Unless, I mean, you get some cover on it, but you know, you can't just be sitting out there in the open, because they're going to be able to see you. Because again, the map is up there up top. As that was a really clean shot for that last Model 10 shot right there. But yeah, so there is a lot of that that will be kind of taking place. A lot about the hill, getting to some good positioning. What you're looking at right there that I'm using is the new perk system, where they have the AT rocket gun, has these explosive shells that make it much easier for you to put damage on the airplane. So you look as you took what I did right there. Now I was getting help from teammates that were shooting at the airplane, but with that weapon there, that is pretty interesting. So I do want to get a little bit of note on that. Again, we're not doing any. They weren't looking for any feedback on that, and of course the feedback is closed already now. That ended last night. during at least Pacific Standard Time, and last night for the feedback for that, but for what they were looking for. But yeah, they weren't looking for any weapon stuff, but that is a very interesting kind of, I want to make mention of that. That's very interesting, and kind of interesting how I had made mention in the last game that it seems like we've moved away from the tank gameplay. Now that there's no tanks on this map from what it looks like, and there's no tanks on the other map, Akibaba, that I played yesterday at all. That's a pure infantry map, so it is interesting to see them. And as far as from Name of the Czar, you can't even play heavy tanks on Name of the Czar. You can't play light tanks on Name of the Czar. You're only forced to play the new armored car, and you can play some artillery truck gameplay, but besides those, you can't play any of. You don't have options for all the other tanks. So it seems like since They Shall Not Pass, it seems like it's been the last of it. Feels like as what it has been in the last 2 updates. We've moved away from tank gameplay, and with this new update, there's been so many tweaks with the aircraft, with AA guns and how much damage your weapons can put on the aircraft, and having be able to repair the AA guns. It seems to be much of a shift away from airplanes as well too. We all remember at the very beginning of the vanilla maps how much some of the bombers, people go on these massive bomber streaks. So now that they have even a weapon for the assault class to take out the planes as well too. So yeah, it's not going to be. I know people were shooting at that bomber, but for the most part, yeah, it's going to do some damage on it, so I won't hit any more of these god shots on it. So it's very interesting to see that approach, the tone. Now we have going to have more of a shift, at least. I'm not sure how much airplanes, I don't know, I've never had a big deal with the airplanes in general. Airplanes to me can kind of be, they'll take me out, but they're not, I've never had it where, they can get, they can't land on the zone and cap the zone, They're more of an annoying, a nuisance to me, because that's one class I don't play with at all, it's a pilot class. So I've never had too much of a problem with it. I know other people might have, have had a bigger issue with it, but for me, if you can't cap the zone, to me, that's kind of where I see it. If you can control the actual capture point, that to me would be more influential. Not to say that they shouldn't have, we shouldn't be having these things in the map, but I'm just saying for me, when I look at it, if you can't cap on the actual capture zone, to me, you're kind of less influential, and that's what the planes can't do. Unless they can land their plane on it, it's just not going to happen. So, but yeah, in regards to the vehicles, though, on this map, they're, as far as I'm concerned, just the same boats that they have on here, that they have in the Name of the Czar map, which is called, I totally escaped my mind right now, Albion. The Name of the Czar map on Albion, we have to spawn at the very beginning of the game. We have those 2 ships. One is a ship for you to spawn in. Another ship is a like an attack boat. So that's all that they have on this map right now. I would be very surprised if they don't, put the new ships on this map. So if they don't put the new battleship on this map, and definitely would be surprised if they don't put the new blimp on this map, or the new airship, or whatever you want to call it. So there's 2 of those new ships that are coming out. You have the new airship, and you have a new battleship that are coming out. And they're like the smaller versions of the Dreadnought and smaller versions of the Zeppelin. That's the way I kind of been seeing them. So you'll be able to see them in your loadout menu right here, where you can see my airplane right there. You should be able to probably see that pop up. So I would be surprised if you don't see at least the airship. I can't imagine the airship not being one of them that you can get. So yeah, I would be, again, very surprised if that doesn't end up showing up here on the map, and we'll be a little bit disappointed if it doesn't as well, because it definitely, from another map that we had in our last map that was purely infantry, you should begin to see now definitely an approach here where they're going to start bringing in more and more of the actual ships. And we'll probably start seeing that a lot more. There's probably a reason why they're doing all this. I don't know exactly the reason why, but there's probably some more testing or other, I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing. I don't necessarily always look at these people as in the negative, that they're always doing something. I tend to take a positive note off of interpreting people, and want to believe that they're doing something that there's for reasons for it. And as far as I'm concerned, by listening to Dice and their devs, unless you're not looking at the live streams and hearing these people talk, these people seem very sincere in what they're saying. And I'm not, again, take the approach where I believe that there's some other reasons of, something negative that what they're doing. They're working on something, and so give it time, and I'm sure it's gonna be worth it when it comes out. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing those and seeing how those play out. We're definitely gonna see them a lot when we have the other 2 new maps that will be coming out in Turning Tides, and seeing those how they come out in the CTE. Those maps for sure, at least one of them looks very naval base like, so you can see definitely more battleships on that one, and especially this one too. I'm thinking even on this one, in the concept art in this one, it has the actual ship in it. So the new concept art that came out for this map actually has the new airship on it, and you can't miss it. It's not like one of those where it's like at the very back and you're kind of seeing a little glimpse of it. No, it's like the main part of the a concept art. So I can't imagine us not seeing that on this map. We're not going to see it on the CT most likely, or maybe we will. I don't know I don't really know. Maybe we will. I don't know. It could happen. So we'll see what it turns out from there. They did stop this build, but it looks like coming up here later tonight, October 18th, for Pacific Standard Time, you'll be seeing this coming back to the CTE, but it's going to be coming up through the rush mode. So keep a lookout on that. It seems like that's going to be coming out from there. I'll post some stuff down in the comments below from where I'm getting that information from, so you guys want to go double check that, just to make sure, you know, I don't want to waste you guys' time and putting you guys in the wrong direction if something doesn't end up happening. But yeah, it looks like that's going to be coming out here again, so we'll get more of a testing on these maps, but it's going to be on a different mode. It's going to be on rush. So yeah, that's basically it for you guys today. Thanks again for watching, guys. I am Livin', and I'll catch you guys again later. Peace.